Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, another new business opens its doors in Ward 5, and we give you a look inside the new and improved Dula Community Center. Here to discuss these topics and a whole lot more is the councilman who represents Ward 5. You know who it is. It's Mr. Cedric Crear. Welcome back to the show.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Busy as always.
You are.
My
very
goodness.
busy guy. We have a packed show today,
We
so I
do.
know you're busy because we've got like 16 topics to talk about
Yeah.
today. So yeah,
A lot happening.
You've been doing a lot.
I have been.
So we'll dive right in here. Councilman knows Ward 5 like the back of his hand. If you're not exactly sure what part of town we're talking about, well, we're going to show you. It's that area, appropriately enough, with the big 5 on it. He represents some of the downtown. That's part of Ward 5. That's going to be on the right-hand or eastern side of the map. But he also has a finger that goes all the way up into the northwest as well, basically running along the north and east side of US 95. You live in that area, work in that area, and of course you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas and represented, if you're a resident, by Councilman Cedric Crear.
Yes.
You are proud of the downtown, very
I
proud,
am.
because there's a lot going on down there, and we have a new property to showcase. Not technically in Ward 5, but it's right next to Ward 5.
It is, right on the border.
And it's part of downtown. The Strat.
It's
The old
beautiful.
Stratosphere, now the Strat. Folks, if you haven't been there, they have pumped a lot into redeveloping this property. It is gorgeous. And Councilman, you and Councilwoman Olivia Diaz, the governor, you had Sammy Hagar and Rick Springfield out there, for the official ribbon cutting of the new property.
Yeah, it was great. I have to give a lot of credit to everyone at Golden Entertainment for them, one, purchasing the Strat, but then taking it and really creating something that is very special. The Strat is unique in the fact that it is the gateway to downtown, but it's also the gateway to the Las Vegas Strip.
Yep.
It has a unique presence there. And, I think they definitely showed well. And with the restaurants, with the new addition, what's going on up on the restaurants on top, the viewing, it's pretty amazing.
It's
a
spectacular.
great sports bar that's there.
It's
just
spectacular.
fantastic what they've done.
They've done a tremendous job. If you haven't seen it, you might want to go check out the
Yeah,
Strat.
you definitely want to go check it out.
Yeah.
It's not the old hotel from before. It's definitely not Vegas World. It's not the Stratus for anymore. It is distinctly the Strat.
It sure is.
Yes.
It's a wonderful property. And again, it's cool up there with Sammy Hagar, the
Yeah.
rocker.
Yeah,
and
nice guy.
Rick
Rick Springfield,
Springfield.
nice guy. I had a chance to meet him.
Exactly. So I've seen
Very
that.
nice.
Yeah, I've seen those guys
Right.
a few times over the
It's kind
years.
of hard to believe that that's actually Sammy Hagar, and then it's kind of hard to believe that's actually Rick Springfield.
I know.
But those guys were there.
They were
They're
saying the same
fantastic.
thing about you. It's hard to believe that's really
that right there.
Cedric
And then
Crear,
you know who else showed up was Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
showed
yeah,
up.
the celebrity
he
chef,
popped
yeah.
up and oh, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
How are you? Surprise, surprise.
Love that guy's show. Every time I watch it, I'm like dying hungry after
I tell you,
after I
no
see
doubt
it.
about it.
So
Good guy.
good
UNLV
stuff.
guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Right,
right.
UNLV
And
guy.
he is very much entrenched in Las Vegas,
He
which
is.
we love.
He
so.
is. He is.
And then, Councilman, we love new businesses in Ward 5 as well as in the downtown. You posted this on Facebook. You said, "Thank you, Dapper Development, for turning a retail center completely around." Now, tell everybody about this, Councilman.
Right, so right on the corner of Lake Mead and Jones, there is a development right behind the Walgreens that developer Jay Dapper came in and really revitalized and took ownership of this area. There is a Capriati's, the restaurant who we just saw is a Your Way restaurant. There's a guy who's his first brick and mortar shop. He had a food truck. And his name is Jeremy. I need you to go by and say hello to Jeremy while you're there. He's back there cooking, and he really just put everything he had into this store, and it's beautiful. The food is excellent. I can attest to it. They serve breakfast and they serve lunch. It's fantastic. There's a beauty salon, there's a pizza facility, there's a crepe facility.
Wow.
It just really made it something that we're very proud to have in Ward 5.
Jay Dapper's one of those magicians. He comes in, and when he redevelops something, boy, he just makes it so nice.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and I told him, like, he's a person, when he says he's going to do it, he does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about if it's going to get done, if it's going to get done right. And he listened to the fact that I've been saying since I've been in office that we are not going to accept just any development coming into our ward. We want, if you can pick it up and put it in downtown Summerlin or put it out in Anthem, then you can bring it into the ward.
You've been loud and clear on
Yes.
that, and people like Jay have delivered.
He has delivered, and I think it's fantastic, and I appreciate him. And then, he gives it a person that didn't have a brick and mortar, didn't have a lot of experience and opportunity with Your Way Restaurant.
Yeah.
The pizza's great. If you want to get your hair cut, you want to get your hair done, it's right there.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful facility.
Jay's got plans for the Old Huntridge Theater.
Yes.
Frequented as a child, and
Yeah.
also
The
100
downtown
Circle
post
Park.
office.
Yeah,
the downtown post office, which is going on there, and
yeah.
he's building. Just on the paper, he's got the Bend going out in 215.
Yeah,
It's
so
going to be amazing.
He's making it happen. in
He
our
is
city.
making it happen.
Councilman, also making it happen, you posted this on Facebook, such an honor to participate in the opening of Officer Alan Beck Memorial Park. This is a big deal. Officer Alan Beck and his partner, Igor Soldo, were shot and killed while they were just having lunch at a Cece's Pizza back in 2014. And this park was built in Officer Beck's honor. His family was on hand that day. And there's also going to be a park for Officer Soldo as well.
Well, I tell you, even though it's out in Ward 6, I just felt honored to be there and to represent our constituency group for an officer that was, they were murdered. And it's unfortunate that it happened. His wife, as you see speaking, who was great. His kids were there. The park is beautiful. It is a great monument to recognize our fallen officers.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic to be there. As you mentioned, the governor's there. Thank you to Gary Goed and everybody who has worked on the park, that's going to donate it to the city. It's just great, and it's all part of the master plan that's going on in Sky Canyon.
Yeah, it sure is. It's out on Brent Lane, 9220 Brent Lane, if you're familiar with the area.
It's a beautiful park as well. And if you haven't been, I urge you to stop by when it officially opens.
Yeah, there's still a few things. They're putting a few
Right.
finishing touches on here and there.
Right.
So when that gets done, then it'll open.
Yep.
Up to the public,
And it's
so.
great. I know his wife and his family are going to appreciate that. And she mentioned every time they drive by, the daughter says, that's Daddy's park. And so that would be with them for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
How
right.
great.
And
very fitting.
I agree, and much deserved in light of his service. Councilman, it's Black History Month.
It is.
Yeah, and so honoring the history of black firefighters, we're doing that here at the City of Las Vegas.
Yes.
This is pretty cool. I think it's no surprise to people that for a time the fire department was mostly white and mostly white men. But over time, clearly, those barriers have been broken down. We got women, we got African Americans, we got everybody. It's a very diverse group, and so this is looking back at some of the pioneers that helped bridge that gap.
Yeah, and it was great. I have to give a lot of thanks to Brenda Williams, our former council person, former planning commissioner in our ward. Her husband was one of the first black firefighters hired within the Las Vegas City Fire, and it's a great way to recognize, memorialize those that have come before us that charted the path. Chief Washington, the first black fire chief in the city, was there, and it's great to recognize him and continue to recognize him while he's with us, and to see the pictures of not only the males but the females that have come through.
Oh, it's a big deal.
And so
we've got two females for the
we have
first
two
time
females,
as deputy chiefs.
Deputy chiefs now.
Yeah.
And so if you're there at the Doolittle Senior Center right on J Street, go through, take a look, and it's great. It walks you through a history. And also what Brenda did great was that it's Las Vegas centric, but there's also some firefighters from Clark County, from other parts of the region as well. So
it's a big deal.
it's great.
Yeah.
I really
Check
think
it
that
out.
they did a fantastic job. And I think it's a great way for us to take a moment and recognize those who have
love history.
Loved it.
I love history anyway.
Yep.
And Dave Washington, Fire Chief Dave Washington, former fire chief, he and I always had a special relationship because we became directors about the same time together. And so we kind of came up through the organization about the same time. And so commiserated.
And he's still very active, still very
he is.
engaged.
I see him all the time. He looks younger now than he did then. I wish I could say the same. But good man.
Yeah, it's great.
Always. So,
No doubt
and
about
his
it.
wife Marcia too. So. Councilman, keeping the theme of remembering those in the African American community who've made a contribution, you recognized Ramone Savoy from the Las Vegas Sentinel Voice at our city council meeting back on February 5th. Back in the day, and when I was in journalism, when I was a reporter, Ramone covered the news just like I did. He for the Sentinel Voice, I for one of the TV stations here. And fitting that you honored him. He was a really hard worker, especially a great voice for the for the west side
Yeah,
of
he
Las
was.
Vegas. Yeah.
He was, and he still is. And I said this when we gave him the recognition, was that even before I physically knew Ramone Savoy, I knew of Ramone Savoy.
Yeah, everybody
Growing
did,
up
yeah.
in the community as a young man trying to find my way, I knew of Ramone, and he always had a voice that was speaking on behalf of the community. And so when he took ownership of the Las Vegas Sentinel Voice, he continued that, and you know, he would write on articles that you wouldn't see in mainstream journalism.
Oh yeah,
And
exactly.
he would address issues that you wouldn't see in mainstream journalism. And he was our voice for the community. And you know, a lot of times you can talk about it, but when it gets in print, it has a more indelible imprint.
Yeah, it lives on.
It
yeah.
lives on, right? It really means something. And he took that voice and that consciousness of the community, put it on print for us to be,
Yeah.
you know, here forever.
He was just this encyclopedia of institutional knowledge too. You know, Ramone knew all the people and the players and what happened when, and he was just always a great person to kind of pick their brain because he had the history and knew what was going on.
Well, you know, and also he's a good resource for someone like me. If you're a council person representing the ward, he's never shy about letting you know where people are saying and what's happening, and also gives you a pathway from where it was to where it is to maybe where we should be. And I really rely on him to give me an honest, and he's never shy about that.
No, not at all.
Giving me an honest representation of what's going on, and so I thank him for that.
Fitting that you honored him. He's been a little under the weather health-wise.
He has been. He has been.
So that's fitting that I'm glad you took the time.
Yep,
to
no doubt about it. He's a community hero, and we thank him for that.
A couple of other people honored that very same meeting. Got keys to the city from Mayor Goodman, of course, and the rest of the council members. Arnold Stock from Share Village and John Ponder from Hope for Prisoners. Both got keys to the city for their contributions. That's Arnold Stock right there. He is passionate about housing not only our homeless veterans, but just the homeless in general, housing, feeding them, finding them jobs. And then John Ponder, getting people to turn their lives around, life of crime, back on the path to being contributing members of society.
No doubt. I mean, both of them are very well deserving. I know the mayor does not give out keys to the city
Not very often. Yeah, very.
So
That's
it
John
really,
Ponder right there. Yeah.
you know, it really hits home and really special. And Ernie, from the first day I've gotten in office, was meeting with me, telling me about what he's doing, what's happening with his veteran villages moving forward, and you can see the evolution from Veterans Village to Share Village to what he is building. And he is creating more than just a place to lay your head. He's really servicing a community.
Sure is.
And he's creating a community within his community. And he's a prime example of someone, both of them are prime examples of someone that's not just talking about it, but they're doing about it.
So true.
And
So
John
true.
Ponder with his Hope for Prisoners, working on the recidivism rate. His
amazing.
story is amazing. A former incarcerated person himself.
Inmate himself.
Got out and said, I want to try to make a difference in people's lives. And here he is doing it on a monthly basis. He's graduating people from his program.
And people in his program, their recidivism, they're apt to go back to prison very, very low,
Very little.
low. Yeah.
And if you ever attend one of his graduations, you can see the compassion that people have because they've been given compassion. And it's that laws of attraction. You know, I think if you treat people with a level of respect, you receive a level of respect in return. And these graduates have seen they found a pathway, and that's all they're looking for.
Yeah,
Many of them are just looking for a pathway to try to live a better life.
And John leads by example.
He
because
does.
He is a fine.
And it also shows you the amount of support that he has from the community.
Yep.
Who are engaged with Hope for Prisoners.
Yeah.
Ernie as well.
Yeah.
Up and down the strip, up and down the Las Vegas to downtown corridor,
Elected officials,
businesses,
yeah.
elected officials, you know, just regular people, citizens, my neighbors. It is not just, you know, the elite helping out. It is everybody
They're special
helping
guys.
out. They're special people. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah, and not everybody gets a key to the city either.
Not everybody gets a key to the city. I haven't gotten a key to the city
No,
yet.
but we'll have to work on that. You know, you're on your way. And Councilman, love this too. You're out in the community. You took a tour of the Lake Mead water facility, the third intake out there, water treatment plant. This is so important because this intake prior to this being built, if the lake fell down to a certain level, we weren't going to be able to get any water out of it. But this guarantees that the lake would really have to virtually dry up before we wouldn't be able to get a drop out of there.
I got to tell you, so I'm on the board for the Water Authority, and I have to thank John Insmeeker for taking time out of his day to take me on a tour, and all those who were out at the treatment facility, out at the Lower Wash, Zane and his team that are doing so much great work up at the Upper Wash. Now they're working on the Lower Wash. But if you don't go there and see it, you have no idea the magnitude of what's happening on a day-to-day basis. You know, they're treating our water that comes into our faucets. There's an entire engineering process for that. The third intake that's there, which is the third straw in Lake Mead, which is going to allow us to continue to receive fresh water and get that water treated in case the lake level, continues to drop. It is the engineering. It is magnitude, and then another third row of how it's going to go out to service as we grow within the city, and what they're doing there. What's happening with the lower wash down by Lake Las Vegas, what's happening, the erosion that's happening, they're trying to build that back up. It's a multifaceted entity, and if you don't see it, and the engineering that goes into it, the power that goes into it, the talent of just such smart people out there making sure that we, when our faucet turns on, water comes out.
The water comes out. You take it for granted.
Oh my goodness, you take it for granted.
You just expect it to come out.
You expect it to come out.
You talk about some behind-the-scenes heroes that made all that happen.
Yes.
It's very complex. You saw it firsthand.
Yes.
It's an engineering wonder.
Yes.
And again, we don't even really think about it, but if it weren't there, gosh, how could we sustain life out here?
And in Southern Nevada Water Authority are world leaders in this, and it started decades ago. It didn't just start today. It started decades ago of how we are going to provide quality water and resources in the middle of the desert. Right.
That's a feat in and of itself, right?
That of itself is a feat. And as we continue to grow, how does that affect?
Yeah.
You don't think about it. Maybe you can flip on more energy switches, but you have to conserve water.
Right.
You have to manage the water that we have, and then you have to find additional resources to get as we grow in the city.
Here, exactly. Well said. Councilman, you posted this on Facebook. I love it. So proud to participate in the Las Vegas My Brother's Keeper Alliance MBK 2020 annual conference. Councilman, tell everybody what My Brother's Keeper is. My Brother's Keeper is the initiative that President Obama started, which is a nationwide mentoring program. And it's basically saying we need to provide mentors to come in and provide services and to just be a role model for inner city kids. Thank you to Superintendent Harder for sending out the call. We had all these principals in the room. The place was packed. And that MBK conference, from my understanding, has grown from 100 participants to 1,000 participants that they had, and there was packed. And it was a great day of not only of speakers, but of workshops. And we had the National My Brother's Keeper, Broderick Johnson, come in, and he spoke to the organization. So it wasn't just a local thing. This has grown and it's expanded from where it was to where it is now. And I got to give a lot of credit to our team in community services, Dr. Lisa Morris-Hibbler and her team, and Lee Quick, and all those guys. We just hired Dr. Tammy Malich to come aboard to head up our Social Youth and Innovation Department. That whole team bringing together and bringing this here is just fantastic. Poonam Mather received. Saw her in the picture there, Poonam received the very first Tyrone Thompson award that we given out for service, and she was blown away. She actually shed a tear, and it tells you what that means to her and what it means to the community. So I saw Mayor Goodman there as
Mayor
well.
Mayor Goodman was there. It's a wonderful event. Commissioner Weekly was there.
Pay it forward kind of idea.
It is.
If you've got something that you can share with the next generation to help them get where you are and maybe beyond, that's the idea.
We somewhat take it for granted, mentoring. That is some sort of a cliche. I started my Crear's Civic Engagement Day, where I bring kids down to City Hall for the day. We've had over 200 kids come through. We have, and once that's gotten out, now we have more demand for more kids to come down.
They tour Channel 2 here.
They tour Channel 2, and it's fantastic. You guys do a great job of rolling out the red carpet for them.
Of course.
And it's just great, right? You'd be so surprised of how it makes a difference in touching someone's lives. We had a couple of kids that have gone through a mentoring type program. They are now participants in it. That were part of the community, and now they are actually participating in it. And they're adults.
See, isn't that?
And they are contributing adults to our community.
There you go.
It's a fantastic thing. It worked, yeah.
Well, Councilman, speaking of educators, this is very kind. You had a principals dinner at the Now Cafe. That's here at City Hall for the principals for all the schools within your ward, high school, elementary school, middle school. And this took place back on February 6th, and they came down here. You had a chance to meet with all of them, and they talked about their issues, and you talked about how the city's trying to help make their jobs and their students' lives better.
Yeah, well, this is one of my favorite events. This is our second annual principals dinner, and one of the beauties of it is that we get educators that come into a room, and you're so surprised. Many of them have never met each other. You would think that they talk to each other, but they do not.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, it is very interesting. And I always say that the former president of University of Reno, a guy named Milt Glick, used to talk about a sticky campus. Tammy Mallett's right there. I think that was our first event, just coming aboard. Let's talk about a sticky campus, and we want to make a sticky environment. You bring people in a room, combustion happens. We had a elementary school said they need mentors. We have a Legacy High School that were there, Western High School that was there, and they said we're looking to have our kids go do some mentorships. So here they are in the same vicinity, working together. And they are able to get in a room and talk about the challenges that they're facing. And then some other principal and administrators have faced that same challenge, and they can say, hey, well, this is how we fix it, and this is how it's been successful. And then as a city, the city does an amazing job of providing wraparound services for our schools. With our Social Youth and Innovation Department, with our Reinvent Schools, they do amazing things. So it's also an opportunity to let them know and update them on what we're doing, whether it's an additional Smart Start bus that's going into the community, which provides pre-K, or if it's some other wraparound service that we provide. And then they say, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Fantastic. Who do we contact for that?
Exactly.
That combustion happens. It's great. And it has shown the response from the first year we did it was good. This year was great.
Yeah, so it was a good evening all the way around. We'll do more of those in the future.
We do need to.
Councilman, you posted this on Facebook. You said, Happy Chinese New Year, the year of the rat. We did a lot of celebrating. We had Chinese New Year. We had a parade for that, and we had an MLK parade. Now, this is MLK, right?
Yep, that's MLK. The first one was the Chinese New Year. Both were a lot of fun. MLK parade was down 4th Street, which is fantastic. And I think
January 20th, that Monday, the holiday.
They've been doing it for a long time, and it's really grown. The Asian parade is great. This was on Main Street this year versus East Fremont.
That's what this one is.
And the Main Street, I think, was a lot better. One, coming down Main Street with the lights and everything.
It's really
happening.
cool.
It's
and
really
then when it ends, everybody hung around and just kind of partied.
They had like a little block party on
nice.
I don't know if it's California Street or one of the streets right behind it, and it was great. It was a great evening. A great day, a great morning, a lot of fun. A lot of people came out, and it was very cool. It warmed up, and it was a beautiful day.
And then, Councilman, all of you will be able to take advantage of this. February 21st, February 28th, pop-up parks in Ward 5. One is going to be Children's Memorial Park. That'll be on the 21st. Then on the 28th at Clarence Ray Memorial Park. Councilman, tell everybody what pop-up park means.
Well, it's going to be a great time. You come out, and as you said, we're going to have different activities at the parks. Just a great day for community to come out, right? Even though our parks are open every day, this is a special day where we're going to be out.
Some extra stuff.
Some extra things that are going on. There's going to be some sensory activities that are happening and all types of things. So come on out. It's we got a great parks, and what a great day to come out. To have some fun with your family.
Absolutely, absolutely. 21st, 28th, and then on the 27th, grand opening, Fire Station 3. Long time coming, but on Thursday, February 27th, 10 o'clock, you will be out there. I think the mayor is going to be out there. Fire Station 3 will officially open.
If you have not driven by, I urge you to. It's just great. It's really beautiful. I remember as a kid when that station was built and when the art piece came out front. It says art in the hose. Because we used to drive up there all the time and pass it every day. And so now to see that building and see it be refurbished, and it's just great. I saw the guys out there cleaning it up. The doors were up. and they were in there cleaning. You
Yeah.
can tell they take a lot of pride in their new station. And plus that station is going to provide a higher level of service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Faster
safety,
responses, yeah.
faster response to our community.
Absolutely.
It's come out. There's some bigger hazmat, I believe, trucks out of there. Specialized trucks are going to be housed out of there, which are not housed at other places. So it really is an enhancement for our fire safety in our community.
Good stuff. And Councilman, last but not least, we want to tell everybody some community meetings coming up. One on February 27th, that same day, later on, from 6 to 7:30. This will be at the historic West Side School. This is to talk about kind of some planning issues, right? Yeah,
so,
the first one.
First, usually we would have our Crear's community conversation on the 27th, and we are going to cancel that because we're going to have this community meeting, which is going to be at the historic West Side. And we urge people to come out to find out about new building standards which are being proposed in conjunction with the 100 plan. There's something called form-based codes, which we've been sampled over in the downtown corridor and also in the health district. And so we want to talk to the community and get some feedback about potential future codes that may happen over in the historic West Side. So great opportunity to find out more about what's happening. And also, this is another step that we're taking to execute within the 100 plan.
Perfect. Councilman, unfortunately, we are just about out of time here, so we want to tell everybody out there, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Crear, you can find him on Facebook and Twitter. He's also pretty active on Instagram, too. He's great on social media, quite honestly. You can also contact him just by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send him an email. His address is ccrear@lasvegasnevada.gov. Councilman, great job.
Thank you.
Super. We'll have you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward. Find another packed show like this.
6 weeks goes by so fast. My goodness.
No
Time
question,
flies
it does.
when you're having fun.
Exactly. and that is us right here. Don't miss our next show beginning on February 20th with Ward 6 Councilwoman and Mayor Pro Tem Michelle Fiore. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. As we close the show this time around, we leave you with a look inside the newly renovated and opened Dula Community Center. This center combines the original 1955 Robert Dula Gymnasium and the adjacent 1976 Las Vegas Senior Center into one center, offering programs for all ages. We hope you enjoy your look inside this beautiful refurbished community center. We'll see you next time around, everyone.
These three facilities were some of the very first parks and recreation facilities built in the city.
A brand new rehabilitated complex for our community. Here we go. All right.